Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. And today we're getting into another EDC comparison of multi-tools. So these are actually two BIBURYs that we are putting head to head. Now, they actually go for the same price, $30, $29.99. Link's going to be in the description for both. Sometimes you can find a coupon for each, and then they will go for a little bit under that. But generally speaking, that's the base price. Now, these two right here, they bring a lot of the same thing to the table because they are the same price. But what's interesting with BIBURY is they give you a decent amount of, well, at least it's increasing options for the tool set that suits you. So in this one here, the BIBURY, this one on our left is the BIBURY 20-in-1, and this one on the right is the BIBURY 19-in-1. Now, the 20-in-1, first off, I want to get out the way that when it comes to the I'm going to go off the name of the amount of tools in one, even though they do have model numbers, but there are all these different numbers, easier to say it like that to understand the difference. But in addition to that, I will say that it's very funny to me how um, most of these tools look like they got the same number of tools on them, even though they'll say 19-in-1, 20-in-1, 18-in-1, whatever the case is. But it's interesting. They got the same tools on them. So sometimes they'll add or consider things extra tools that aren't really tools, like the pocket clip, and they'll call that a tool. So with that being said, um, let's jump into this comparison. So the the 20, we're going to call this the 20. We're just going to call that the 19. So the 20 is one of their more newer tools, and you could tell by the design once we get into it. Now, they both come with a pocket clip, so that makes them kind of even in that regard. Matter of fact, before I even get into that, they both have the same case. All BIBURYs now that are not the Pro version, or at least coming with a little bit kit, a smaller bit kit, and this is what it looks like. So I left this one out so you could see, because the other one on that one is the exact same thing. I'm gonna pause and just look at that, what you got there. And obviously they both come internally with a double-sided Phillips and flathead. So, and that's your standard one that you would use with those. Now, the 20, the 21, it has scissors on the outside. So that is one of the main factors that changes it, because they both have your straight edge knife. And this one chooses to do this kind of black coating, and it's probably paint. I don't think there's probably some sophisticated, element to it. Both of these have the same material. I want to let that be known too, even though the design are a little bit different. The outside material of the case, and I did these on the review of each of them. The outside of the material of the case is 3CR13, and the knife is 7CR13. I don't know if that includes the serrated knife because it just says knife. But with that being said, just know they're the same materials in terms of what they're made. So both of them have that same kind of semi-loosey tolerance. They're decently tight, but compared to, like, say, the Fleecer, they're a little bit loose. I don't think that's really a problem. They're still great tools, and when I have them in hand, I can get jobs done without a problem. But like I said, comparing these directly to each other, so essentially you're getting a slightly different tool set, and this one is definitely a little bit newer because it tries to take elements, at least a visual, of the P, like similar to the Leatherman P Free series, and this one has the look of the wave design. So what you're getting here, like I said, is the same flat knife, which is fine, but you get the outside scissors on it. Now, before, you can only get that on the Pro model. Now you can get that on this model. What I have found, though, using these scissors, though, is that mine came out without a problem, but one that I purchased for a friend of mine, it's weird when you pull it out and you try to lock it into place on that other model, same model, I mean, but that other version, I have to push a lot harder here to get that click for it to lock in place. And it does. At first, I almost thought, was it defective? But then I realized I just had to push it a lot more to get that to lock in place. Maybe that wouldn't be a problem. Maybe a little bit of, WD-40 or something like that. But nonetheless, it was just something to note. Now, like I said, that was the big change factor, is the scissors, compared to where this one here, the regular plain edge knife, is on this side. And then on this side, you have a file. Now, if you're the kind of person who doesn't really use a file, then it's not going to be, you're not going to really probably care as much for this one, the 19 versus the 20, in terms of you saying, I don't really need a file. I personally prefer the scissors, but what's funny is I actually like the look of this one better, but I like the tool set of this one better. Now, other than that, when you go on this side, the non clip side, you have the same serrated, well, no, I'm sorry, you don't have the same serrated blade. You've got that hook on it, which is reminiscent of the Charge. So this one, which is funny because I've seen a few people review this before, and I'm sorry, review this same design, but not BIBURY's one. And essentially, SQT makes a version just like this. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's called Dia something. I forget the name of it. It's another kind of off-brand tool company that I feel is not even on Amazon. So it's to me, it's kind of like less known. I forget the name of it right now, but it's Dia something. Dia Tools or something like Dia something. And so they have a version of this too and whatnot. SQT makes a version that has a different shell that's more like the Charge, the Leatherman Charge with titanium. But essentially, this is still the same tool set as that. So if you wanted that kind of tool set, but from BIBURY, you would go with this version, which is the 20 in one. And you have that. So there you have, like I said, that little kind of cutting piece on the back. I like to just call it a seatbelt cutter, but you know, whatever you want to consider it, a hook or whatever it is, you don't have that on this version. And this is an updated version of a older model because it has the replaceable wire cutters. But other than that, this design came out before this design. With that being said, you got pretty much the same saw. Other than obviously the color model of this. Now, this doesn't offer a all stainless steel variant. Understand that. So, you know, BIBURY is not giving you that option where some companies will give you like all black version, the all steel version. They give you an all steel version for this, for the regular wave type of one, the 19 in one. They give you this mixed one for the 20 in one. So those are the outer tools there. And obviously those outer, the difference between the scissor and the saw, I'm sorry, not saw, the file, excuse me, is what causes a difference in the internal tools. Now, obviously, the bit driver is going to be the exact same on both of them, so we don't even have to really get into that at all. But before we even get into the side tools, the plier heads are different. This one is more like the P series actually has a plier head like that. I've heard another content creator reviewer say that that design in Leatherman, their lineup was considered a stronger plier head. I don't know if that translates for these, but if it's just simply based on the shape, then you could assume that it is. And in that case, this one has a better pliers head based on just that theory, that concept, because I don't know in practice if it is. They both do the job all the same when it comes to regular tasks. So what they would be referring to in terms of it being stronger is really on that kind of upper echelon of tasks where maybe you might say like that fine line between one and the other. But I definitely will tell you now, and I'm getting grease all over the place. I'm definitely could tell you now that this one is a little bit bigger, even though it doesn't increase the size of the tool. It is a little bit bigger. Now, I can't tell you if they look longer or not, but they're definitely wider on this one, on the 20 and one. Now, besides for that, so that's one change you're looking up there. And then, like I said, on the side tools here, let's get into the 19 and one first and rip them all out. Sometimes when I pull up those tools, this one comes up with it, but it's not that hard to pull out. Not as hard to pull it as the Fleeca, not close to it either. It might just be because of the way how tight it is, how non-tight it is actually, to be more accurate. But I'm going to just do that so we can kind of see the tools flailed out. And then we're going to pull this one out as well, which also are very easy to pull out. try to get that same spread with this one. Now this one has 5 tools over here simply because it doesn't have it has the scissors on the outside, which now they put a smaller file. We're going to see the difference in these tool sets. So, matter of fact, I'll do it like this. So on the 20, you have, and it's funny because the bottle opener is actually thinner is thinner. You guys see that? What I'm going to do, hold on, you guys. I'm going to change up the angle a little bit. So it makes it a little bit easier for you guys to see this. So, and it's not making it any easier to see. There we go. The bottle opener is actually thicker, so they don't use the exact same tools. Depending on the inside and if they have the space, they have different ones to use. Sorry about the focusing, but so the 19 in one, which is the one on my right, it has a thicker bottle opener. So I just wanted to point that out because if you were to do a tool exchange, that would be the case. Also, too, let me pause for a moment and make note. In a previous video where I was actually doing a breakdown of what was in a bug out bag I made, I had mentioned that I was gonna potentially break one of these tools down and take it apart. I actually wanted to originally combine this tool's parts into this one, but afterwards I realized after watching another person's video how hard it was and not having certain right things, as though I may have the tools to open up, I don't have a clamp to hold it and this and that, and it gets messy. And then afterwards, I may not be able to put it back the same way. I decided to ditch that. I ended up just buying a new tool that actually had all the ones that I would have combined this to be, but for the most part had that tool layout because I essentially wanted this one's tools layout in this type of body. But I'll get into that into another video where I'm going to explain the other tool that I ended up purchasing that actually has that similar layout of both of these combined. This one's tool set and this one's look. But anyway, so back to the layout here. This one has 4 tools over here, and this one has 5 tools because this one has its scissors on the outside and this one has its file on the outside. Now, the thing about the 20 is it has its micro driver is, if you want to use the word reversible, or it's I don't want to use the word replaceable, but it's removable. So you have that right there, which is the, I'm sorry, this is the Phillips side. And then if you flip it out, it has a flathead side, while this one just has a flathead side. Like I said, this is a more dated tool because I'm sure if they were making tools now, like all their new tools going forward will probably have that same micro driver in all of them. But mind you, that micro driver is obviously a thicker piece of metal. So they had to make the bottle opener thinner. And even the flathead screwdriver is actually thinner. You can't really see it that well, but it definitely is thinner on the 20 than it is on the 19. Then you also have the additive of the awl, which this one doesn't have an awl. And then obviously the the file is a very, it's a basic file. It's a weak file, but you aren't getting this tool for the file because if you were, you would have gone for this tool or one similar to this where the file had the big file on the outside. So with that being said, this one you're going to for the scissors. And those are the main differences. So this tool setup on this side of the tool, that like little sprawl layout, the plier head, and then obviously the full size scissors for the full size file. And that's really what these two are competing with. So they're really the equal and equivalent tool, same price. It's just a matter of the tool set that you want to have. Me personally, I like this look better, so much better. I'm just more of a fan of this look, but this one's tool set to me is just better because the number one thing to me, well, one, I like that micro driver better than the micro driver on this one. It's just better. I just feel like if you're going to have a micro driver, have one that like one, it's double sided. So you're getting actually an additional tool there. That's probably why it's the 20 in one and not the 19 in one, because you actually can flip it over and get the Phillips on that. In addition, I feel that this one, the 20 in one, I'm more of a fan of the scissors. That's just me. That's just would be the direction I would go in. Whereas I don't really need a file. I'm not one of those people who ever used a file on one of these tools, but I have used the scissors in a pinch. So for me, comparing these two, this would be the one that I would prefer in terms of the tool set if I had to have the tool set. But like I said, this is the one I would like better. And stay tuned for the next video where I do another EDC of a multi-tool, because that multi-tool will be the tool that for the most part combines this one's tools with this one's look. And just to give you the little hint, it's a SQT. So, in my first and only one. So, but with that being said, you guys, I hope you guys found this helpful, useful in the comparison. Like I said, it's not about saying that one is better than the other. It's really just about which one's tool set works for you. With that being said, you guys, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys